Gunmen attack U.S. Embassy. Jesus. Northern Nigeria, I repeat, will not be the only one that will suffer the consequences. I repeat, Jesus. They don't carry their Malu attitude, go they attack U.S. Embassy. God. You see, this is why we should never at any point in time pray for Lord Lugard. This man who has, gathered us, sheep and goats, he gathered everybody in one stable. We are in a very deep mess. Gunman went into the U.S. Embassy. They killed nothing less than 5 persons. And this guy, to conceal his intentions, because they will arrest him, they would have interrogated him, he shot himself. Right there in the heart of Abuja. We understand what Trump will do. Because the first thing they will do is a red alert, a warning that Nigeria is not a safe spot. Secondly, the Donald Trump administration might possibly place ban on the Nigerian people. Something that we have no hand in. Can Donald Trump please relocate U.S. Embassy? I beg, relocate and go come Lagos because no. Take it away from that place it is currently in the north. I don't know why we will find ourselves in an holy union, in a supposed family gathering, where in just one particular son of the mother of that land keeps pouring, and we are the ones in the other room will come out and clear the mess. How bad now? Everywhere they smell now. The ultimate solution to this nonsense is just the real solution. Let us restructure and disintegrate this nation. Because if it was a situation whereby Nigeria was northern Nigerian, southwestern Nigeria, old east or not southeastern Nigeria, it will be written in the news that in northern Nigeria, gunmen fired U.S. people in U.S. Embassy. C'est fini. That will not, by any extension, affect me in my southwest, Dejeli and Baduli. I mean, for how long are we going to keep deceiving ourselves? A country wherein when some people commit atrocities, automatically it drops off on everybody. Why? Why? And as a matter of urgency, I call on Donald Trump to question the president as to why they will never at any point in time have that audacity to restructure this nation. If Donald Trump can intervene in the Russia-Ukraine war, if he can intervene and in the Israel-Palestine war, then Donald Trump of the United States of America must also touchlight the confusion, perpetual confusion that we find ourselves in this contraption. Or is it when we start killing ourselves, when we start having bloodshed? Is it not known that the Christians in Nigeria today are heavily intimidated? Is it not proven? Is it not in the records? In the past, we know that Donald Trump questioned Buhari that why are you killing Christians? Today, what happened in United States of Embassy in Abuja will not be questioned whether it was a Christian, whether it was a Muslim. What they will say is Nigerians are this and that. Nigeria is not safe. And meanwhile, there are some people in this country who will never at any point in time raise their hands and even kill a fly. It is unrealistic. This is the same thing that kept on happening in Sudan until it got to the point that the South Sudanese took up armors. It's not until we begin to carry guns and RPGs before Donald Trump will understand that okay, Nigeria, let us put our thoughts, in prayers, and let us put words into actions in supporting a peaceful resolution of the perpetual conflict, because there's conflict in this country. Some people are labeled drug dealers. Some people are labeled ritualists within ourselves, but externally they will rub it on every other person. Yes. So we must reposition this country named Nigeria, because as for me, it is not working. It is not working. We cannot continue to deceive ourselves. Look, how can someone go and attack the most powerful country's embassy in the world, US embassy? You think they're not going to get you? Because you think you killing yourself will conceal your intention? You just want to use that to rub rubbish on all of us as Nigerians. So we start explaining, no evidence. Why? That shouldn't be the case. Look at the level of terrorism going on in the north. Look at the nonsense the north are doing with their terrorists. Taking selfies, snapping pictures. These are the things they will probably take to the table of the Donald Trump. Look at it. Look at the Nigerian people. Look at them. How do I want to prove that in the videos where people were, snapping pictures with bandits? How am I supposed to say that there's no Southerner there, there's no Christian there? How do I want to say it? How do I prove it? But if we were properly structured, if Donald Trump will say that he has sorted 7 conflicts in 7 months, God, I beg Donald Trump, before December, I beg, come help us sort the matter where they go for Nigeria. Come help us solve this matter where they go on in this country, because apparently it seems that we cannot sort our problem by ourselves. It seems that there are some people who are above every other tribe in this country that will always sit on the table of progression and they will hurt it. We need your help, Donald Trump. Whatever happened in the US embassy just some hours ago, about no deal. Let me speak for my Yoruba brothers in the southwest. We know nothing about it. Nothing. But I understand that in the news, it will be written that Nigerians automatically now, let's say for instance, I am in United States of America, they would question me, why did we blow up US embassy? And then I'll start explaining, it is the government, and we know that there has been so many government, who have of northern extraction doing this nonsense. I better go. I don't think any IPOD person will go and bomb US embassy. I don't think any Yoruba nation person will go and bomb US embassy, because they are all inclined in support and they look up to the US of A. The only people that know that they look eastwards and they look towards Iran, Afghanistan, of course, are the what? The Fulani governments. So we can assume, we can deduce and conclude that whoever attacked the United States embassy, even though his identity is yet to be fully known and identified, but from what we know and what we have experienced, we know that it is a northern bomber or a northern shooter. Because this thing happened under Jonathan back then. Under Jonathan, when all these bandits attacked the United Nations building in Abuja, then they tried to attack the US embassy afterwards, but the US embassy immediately deployed their secret service and they prevented that from happening. But you see, man, God, I just hope that Donald Trump will not step down without taking a look at the problem going on in this country. Because of course, we cannot keep cleaning the mess created by others. No, it is wrong. It is totally wrong. Yes. If they can sort the problem within Germany and Europe, if they could have done that in World War II, wherein they had to ask Germany to lay low, they compensated them, and they sorted it, and ever since then there has been peace for over 80-something years. If I'm not mistaken. Now they have to take a look at Nigeria. It shouldn't be until we descend into, buying ourselves, bloodshedding, killing ourselves, broad daylight, going into genocide wars, just as in Congo, in Sudan. Not, it shouldn't be until that time. It shouldn't be. This incident of the US embassy should serve as a nudge to Donald Trump, nudge to the United States of America, who seeks for peace for people around the world, Christians most importantly, religious liberty. They need to take a look at the Nigerian contraption. The Nigeria is evilly constructed. Evilly. People who construct a lot Lugard is evil. They did a bad job to us. Could it be because we are black? This is why they never talk about it. Could it be? Haba. This is totally unfair. Because as it stands, I don't think we by ourselves solve this problem that we have. I don't think we have the capacity. Because when you try it, some forces will rise up and say no. Yes. If you say, okay, let us give ourselves the right nomenclature according to our ethnicity or according to the way we see ourselves, because all Nigerians will, they will affiliate with their ethnic sentiment before they talk about nationhood. So why don't we say that, okay, we have the Western Nigeria, we have the Middle Belt Nigeria, we have the Northeastern Nigeria, we have the Northwestern Nigeria, we have the Southern Nigeria, and then we have the Southeastern Nigeria. So when you commit an atrocity, we can call you that almost come. Now your boys, they do this nonsense. So I mean, adjust. But in this situation, you cannot. In this situation now, if we were in a properly structured place, the regional premier of North and Central will be out looking for whoever that was involved in the shooting, because we in the other regions will not take it lightly, because we have to hold him responsible. Likewise, the same thing when we're having uncontrolled immigrants, internal immigration, people coming from north to south, because the governors over there are failed woefully because they are supporting banditry and insecurity. Hence, they don't want to put an end to it. For that reason, they are now pushing their sons and daughters to come down to the south to be begging on the street, littering everywhere, putting more pressure on the infrastructure. If we were properly structured, we would focus and tell the northern region, Oga, wetin dey sup now? Make una do well, make una dey accountable, make una give them good governance. But as it stands today, the only thing one Nigeria breeds is mediocrity, awfulness, lawlessness, backwardness, retrogression, unfortunately. Well, let's listen to this together. Bye for now. Only according to our standards shall the constitutional review be done. These are the words of the northern leaders, just as we have seen from the art of Sokoto, right there to the bosom of the northern Plateau states, wherein all the Northern League of Senators have gathered once again to stand as a clog in the wheel of progress. When we, the people of the South and the Christians in the Middle Belt, basically, want to move forward as a people, as a nation, so that we can forge a way ahead in this unholy contraption labeled Nigeria by Lord Lugard since 1914s. But here we are today. They have sent a letter to Tinubu that your support, your backing, trying to go through the back door, using Judge Akume, whom I'm going to play his speech to you right now, saying that the North must, with open mind, respect the will of the people by trying to restructure Nigeria in what we call a through federalism, that it is only on their own terms, that without the agreement, that nobody moves. You see why we said, when you as a president from the South, when every point in time you dance to the tune by the drums beaten by the northern oligarchs, you will go in there. At best, we are going to have what we call temporary prosperity, joy and happiness. But when you leave, we will be back in square zero. Can Tinubu unravel and demystify the knot? Well, he has 2 years left for him to show us that he is the Jacobin. Otherwise, it will also be what? Categorized as one of the stooges, of course, of the northern oligarchs. Because we know that the rhetorics the failed southern presidents have always said is, yes, as a one nation, we have to consider the cry of the north. You failed simply means you failed. Don't sugarcoat it for us. Every country that wants to move forward will have one leader that will be daring. When Lee Kuan Yew became the president of Singapore, or the prime minister, started to be corrected. There were so many tribes in Singapore, and there were some very key things Lee Kuan Yew said. He said the country will be built on meritocracy, your competency, your capacity, and most importantly, your ability to dare never to cower to tribal sentiment. And what did Lee Kuan Yew do? They nullify the argument about tribes. While we can argue that such method cannot be applicable in Nigeria, because Nigeria is a tribal country, because Nigeria since the 1800s have always been tribal supremacy. When the Fulanese overpowered the Kanawas, the Kanos people, the Hausawas, toppled all the Aseriki, replacing them with the emirs. We saw what they did to Afoja in Ilorin. We saw how the Yoruba-speaking Fulanese are the one in charge of the Ilorin political affairs. The Ile-Ife, which is the Oni of Ife, cannot there go to Ilorin and dictate to them. He won't there. What did he say? He will swallow. So you see, that tribal centric system is what we must have constitutionalized, institutionalized, and that is what the North will not stand. Watch any southern president come on board to implement, and they will bring to you the one Nigeria mantra. No, let us be one Nigeria. In that same one Nigerian constitution, you have one law that guarantees the religious sovereignty of the North. The Sharia is guaranteed in the constitution. The same constitution that says, do not engage in barbaric activities, however, guarantees the Sharia. And in Sharia, you can chop off people's hands, people's heads. And then when you question it, they say it is by consent. Have you ever seen anywhere in the world where if even a madman will not open his eyes and tell you, I agree, you chop off my hand? When you question them, why was Deborah, why was she stoned? They will tell you, well, she spoke against their prophet. But she was a Christian. They say, well, she was in a Muslim state that is governed by that is governed by Sharia. But when you ask them, you question them, but Nigeria is a supposedly secular state. They'll tell you, but if you check the same constitution, there is Sharia, and people have the right to govern themselves according to what? So, that confusion. All right? That argument can only be done by a man who must understand that this has to be done in my first year. And for me to do it, I need to have the backings of those that want to have that change done, whether by sweat, by what.